ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our singing star, Miss Kitty Reed.
Hello world, this is Miss Kitty Reed, and Kanani and I will be discussing The Storekeeper's Daughter by Wanda Brunstetter. It was published in 2005, and it is the first book in the Daughters of Lancaster County series. As her mother lays dying in the driveway after being hit by a car, 20-year-old Naomi Fisher promises her she will take care of her 7 siblings. In the days ahead, Naomi feels trapped by this burden, especially caring for the young children. Her baby brother Zach is the biggest job she has, but she also must work hard at her family's general store. Naomi's father Abraham has become depressed and bitter, never showing love to Naomi and constantly criticizing her and comparing her to her mother. Abraham does not allow Naomi to socialize or court, meaning Caleb Hoffmeyer cannot pursue her. Despite her feelings for Caleb, she tells him to move on, as she will never be able to have a relationship. On the day Abraham decides to be kinder to his family, he sets up a root beer stand at their home. A man from Washington named Jim stops by. Jim and his wife Linda are not able to have children and have been pursuing adoption. Linda had a migraine and stayed behind at the hotel in Lancaster, while Jim went on to pick up their baby in Maryland. The adoption falls through, and as Jim drives around and wonders how he will tell his wife they still don't have a child, he comes by the root beer stand, where Naomi meets him with Zach and chats with him. Naomi goes inside to get a cold jug of root beer as one of her siblings screams from the house. She leaves Zach on the picnic table and hurries inside. Jim wants a baby, and particularly wants his wife to have a baby. He takes Zach and flees. Naomi has no information for the police on the man who took Zach. There are no leads. Her family is heartbroken, and she blames herself. Caleb saw a baby in Ohio right after Zach was kidnapped that looked like him, and in fact was him, and Abraham goes to the quilt shop of Fannie Miller to investigate. He gets no leads on Zach, but is friendly with Fannie. As time goes on and the children don't respect her Naomi as much, she wonders how she can go on and finds some solace in secret talks with Ginny, an English friend who comes to her family's store. Caleb visits Naomi in secret one night, but her father finds out and forbids them to see each other. One day, Naomi hears her father praying in the barn, bearing his soul. He says he struggles to forgive Naomi and thinks she left Zach on the picnic table alone on purpose. Naomi decides to run away, and she and Ginny take off in Ginny's car to Portland, Oregon. Abraham regrets how he treated Naomi and can do nothing but pray. Fannie Miller comes to Lancaster to visit her cousin and reconnects with Abraham. They soon grow close and fall in love as she helps out at the store and with his children. Ginny and her friend in Portland either ignore Naomi or treat her like their personal maid. With Fannie's help, Abraham trusts God and tries to forge ahead with his remaining children. After getting a Bible tract from a customer at the restaurant she works for, Naomi decides to come home. Meanwhile, Zach has been renamed Jimmy, and Jim and Linda find it hard to adjust to parenthood. Linda becomes overprotective, and Jim doesn't know what to do about it. Naomi is shocked at how kind and loving her father has become. She and Caleb are allowed to court. Abraham and Fannie get married, and Naomi struggles to accept Fannie as her stepmother, but eventually comes around. Caleb is a buggy maker and repairer, and one day at work a buggy falls on him, leaving his hand permanently disabled. He can no longer work on buggies, and so breaks up with Naomi a few months before their wedding. Abraham meets with Caleb, and one day Caleb comes to the family store to tell Naomi that her father sold him the store. Caleb now has a job he can do in his condition, and a way to provide for Naomi, so he proposes again, and she happily says yes. The end. This was quite the journey. The Fisher family went through so much in this book, and readers will get invested into how they will survive and if they will ever thrive again. I enjoyed following the family and their behaviors after the death of their mother and Zach's kidnapping. I really loved seeing Abraham's transformation. He truly had to trust in God, and by opening himself up, fell in love again. I loved Fannie as well. She was so loyal to Abraham and took over her new responsibilities in his family well, but she never seemed like an unrealistic character. I liked Naomi. I enjoyed exploring her emotions and actions, but when Abraham goes to Fannie's quilt shop to search for news about Zach, the book shifted from having Naomi be the primary point of view character to Abraham being the primary point of view character, and now the book is really more about him. Before the shift, the book was firmly about Naomi, and while Abraham gets brief point-of-view passages, the events are interpreted through Naomi's lens. Sections where Abraham is featured serve to humanize him, as his grief is blinding him to how cruelly he is treating his daughter. Without these sections, Abraham becomes extremely unlikable. The shift from Naomi to Abraham works in the narrative because at this point, Abraham's story becomes more compelling. We get to see him recognize the error of his ways, trust God, and accept new love. Meanwhile, Naomi has far less to actually do in the narrative. Until she runs away, Naomi's actions in the book are limited to doing chores and rejecting Caleb because she has to do so many chores. We don't get much of an exploration of Caleb and Naomi's feelings for each other than that he liked her but never asked her out until she wasn't free to date. Abraham and Fanny's relationship is explored and allowed to slowly blossom, while for much of the book, Caleb and Naomi do not even interact. The shift from Naomi to Abraham is clear when we look at when Naomi runs away. After Naomi meets up with Ginny, there's not much attention given to what she does while traveling and living in Portland. I thought that Naomi was going to find some clue about Zach, but, like when she is at home, her actions are limited to being overworked and unappreciated. We get very little of her inner monologue, and passages about her are very short. We don't even see until she is approaching the door that she decided to come home. I don't think this is a bad choice, but this book is called The Storekeeper's Daughter. The story works better when it is what it became, a story about the family. I did not like that Caleb got hurt mere pages from the end of the book. There was no reason to have this drama, and more compelling drama happening around the same time was that Naomi is struggling to accept Fanny as her stepmother, which was not fully explored. Another briefly mentioned point of drama between Caleb and Naomi was her struggling to accept happiness when Zach is still missing and she still blames herself. Caleb getting hurt added nothing to the story except a way to solve a problem that didn't really exist, that Abraham didn't want to run the store and wanted to be a full-time farmer instead. This was mentioned sporadically throughout the book, but the happiness Naomi feels at getting to run the store she loves with Caleb took me by surprise. Never did Naomi express any love for the store. Whenever we see her in the store, she is constantly overburdened by work. Caleb and Naomi should have gotten married as a subplot, and the book could have still ended with their marriage as seen by Abraham. Overall, I thought this was a great story, but it didn't really follow the title of being mainly about the storekeeper's daughter. I will give this book a 5 out of 7. Our next book will be The Amish Bachelor's Choice by Jocelyn McClay. Check with your local library to see if they have it on the shelves. If not, see if they can get it for you through interlibrary loan. This has been Amish Book Club. This is Miss Kitty Reed and Kanani signing off. See you later on Amish Book Club.
Living in the rhythm that I'm speaking of. You'll be happy in your work if you're in love. You'll be happy in your work if you're in love.